So, how are you in this time of pandemic?
So this pandemic really had taken a lot of time from us already. It's already been 7 months since the start of this crisis, and we're still battling the same kind of problem up until this point. So for me, it's really challenging adjusting to the new kind of normal. Why? Because I'm an outgoing kind of person, and one way of how I distress is really dining out with friends, traveling, trying new adventures, going to church. And we need to accept that at this point we can no longer do it, not maybe in the near future, but and also I think it really has a great impact in my overall health, my emotional, physical, mental, and social health. But nonetheless, I understand that what we are doing right now is the very best thing we can contribute to help prevent the spread and really prevent from acquiring the diseases and keep not only ourselves safe but also our family and the people around us.
What is your work before the pandemic?
So, just a brief background, I am a pharmacist by profession, and before this pandemic, I am working as an associate trainer in one of the largest drugstore chains here in the Philippines. So, I really love that job because I don't feel like I'm working, because I am doing my passion, which is teaching, training, and inspiring people. And at the same time, I am privileged to travel around the Philippines to meet our frontliners, healthcare workers, and to train them in order for them to be equipped in delivering quality services in our community drugstore.
How does the pandemic affected your work and your company?
This pandemic really brought major changes in the lives of everyone. At first, we thought it was just a major change we have to adapt to. But as time goes by, there have been issues and struggles that has been arising. Mental health issues, anxiety problems, worries, our safety. And how do I cope up with that? I acknowledge what I feel most importantly in this time is why being in a four-cornered room most of the time, talking to no one, because I work on a night shift and people are sleeping at those times already. I have to acknowledge when I feel sad. I have to celebrate when I feel happy. I have to acknowledge when I feel anxious and worried about things. Why? Because I have to know and to process everything. Because if I let those emotions consume me, then it will affect my productivity as a person, and it's not good for my mental health. And again, health doesn't only compromise the physical health, it compromises the mental, mental health, emotional, social, spiritual, and physical health. And when one is not okay, you're not considered healthy. So I have to acknowledge what I feel. I need to process my emotions. That's how I cope up because that's all I can do at the moment. And I am still beyond grateful that I still have food to eat, shelter to live on, a work to provide for my family and be a blessing to other people. I think what we can do best right now is maximize the time we have for ourselves, for our family and loved ones. Because again, like how this pandemic happened, we don't know what tomorrow brings. We really don't know, and we can predict the future. But all I can say is that we can trust the one who holds our future. We can always better hope and pray for a better tomorrow.
The impact of the pandemic to your work and your company.
This pandemic really has a great impact on different kinds of businesses, companies, and also especially the socioeconomic status of our country. In my previous company, there has a need to downsize the organization. So unfortunately, there are employees that has needed to be laid off from their position in order to cope up with the crisis brought by the pandemic to the organization. In terms of my work, since I do trainings have been halted because mass gathering is suspended because it's one way of how we spread the disease. And also, we can no longer travel to really reach out and train our drugstore personals in areas where we have the drugstore franchise.
What make you busy now?
So since this pandemic started, um, I've just been staying home and I've been busy with work and school at the same time. So luckily, after resigning from my previous company, God had blessed me with an opportunity working to a multinational pharmacovigilance company with a work from home setup, just to ensure our safety and to make sure that we don't acquire the disease. On top of that, I'm pursuing my master's degree in public health. So those are the things that really occupies most of my time. But on my extra time, I do occasional reading, and most importantly, I sleep a lot because I'm working on a night shift, and that's one way on how we can boost our immune system.
Is there a difference in the salary?
Yes, there is a difference in the salary. So, as to my experience in my previous company, we have a no work, no pay policy. So, for 3 months, we are not paid. Yes, we are still considered employed. So, it's different in a way that we are employed but we are not paid because we cannot do training since it is suspended due to the pandemic. And it really causes a lot of financial issues on our side. It really pushed us hard to really look for a greener pasture outside of the organization. And luckily, to my present company, they are able to really pay us well, to really provide for us. Even we are working remotely, we are working from our own homes. And I think that's a good thing and a very commendable action that there are companies that can still sustain their employees even even with this time of crisis that we are facing.
And what pays better, your former work or the present one?
As to differentiate the compensation from my previous company to the present one, all I can say is that my present company really invests well on people and talents that will really contribute to the success of the organization. And I think in my field of profession, they are one of the companies that really provides competitive packages to their employees.
Which working environment do you prefer? Work at home or going at work?
And yeah, as for the working environment, I'd still prefer the normal face-to-face work environment or setup. Yes, the work from home setup and the normal face-to-face setup has its own advantage and disadvantage. So for me, the work from home setup is really convenient. You got to work at your own convenience. You got to work around your family, and it's less expensive, or there are less expenses when you work from home. But the disadvantage for me is that it's hard for me to differentiate a place of stress to a place of rest. And also, not everyone is given equal chances of having the resources to provide for air conditioning unit, internet connection, tables, and chairs, just in order for the working environment to be doable or comfortable for them. On the other hand, for me, working in the normal face-to-face setup is more is more something I look forward to. Why? Because I got to see my workmates. I got to celebrate victory, success with them. I got to work with them as a team. I can empathize with them. I can be inspired by their success. And I can be with them during their failing times. And together we will learn. And together we will rise up against that. And of course, I look forward to the days where we can still we can again communicate to other people. We can again have the opportunity to really show our talents in the face-to-face basis. Yes, on the other hand, it has its own disadvantage, which is you have to travel every day. You have to wake up early in the morning. You got to really battle through the travel issues that may arise. the calamities, the weather, and the like. But for me, I'd still prefer that because at the end of the day, I have something to look forward to, even at the start of my day. And also, I got the chance to get my favorite coffee in my favorite coffee shop, to eat um, to my favorite restaurant, and to really bring joy and to really share laughter and happiness with other people around me.
How do you cope up during this time of pandemic?
So, to us, what we can formulate to what we're experiencing right now, to this pandemic, is that we are battling against the unseen. And one way that the world tries to cope up and tries to breathe in with is to stop people and other operations and other services from operating, like transportation, malls, amusement parks. And we can see that the decrease in employment and services has a significant effect in the performance of the different organization and businesses. Luckily, in my previous job, since it is a pharmaceutical company, it's a drugstore, I think there's a lesser percentage of business closure due to the pandemic because we all know that medicine, vitamins is an essential part of our everyday living given this pandemic. And also, in terms of my work, there is a complete turnaround in how we do trainings because we still have to innovate ways. We need to adapt to the change because if not, there will be business closures and the like. But nonetheless, we tried our best to cope up with it. But unfortunately, not everyone is given equal chances of having the same resources and also given the internet connection issues here in the Philippines.
So that's all to my video interview. So thank you guys for watching. God bless and